gonna start with heating up our grill. We want some real good heat in there before we start grilling. We're gonna pump it up to maximum. Then we're going to be seasoning the ribeye. As we have seen before, gonna very lightly oil that up on both sides so that the seasoning sticks. You want to get some of that beautiful coarse salt everywhere. Now this is a cut that you can get best at your butcher, but have it tied up with a bit of butcher's twine. If you don't have it, the rib cap that is here on the top is going to fall off whilst you're cooking it. It's going to look a little messy. It's no big deal, but it's not as beautiful for the end result. So really advise when you go to your butcher to ask him if he can tie it up nicely. We've touched the subject before. When we do grilling, we're going to want a sauce that does not require us to have any roastings. So that's why we chose today to do a thyme and garlic butter, which we're going to whip up nicely, make it a little bit aerated, add some crunchy salt in it, and then leave it nice on room temperature. So when you have that hot steak coming out of the oven and you add the butter on top, it's going to melt all over, and all those aromas of the garlic and the thyme is going to fill up the kitchen. Then you're going to just be adding a little bit of the broccoli stems with the bacon, and it's going to be a perfect meal. Now, as we've seen before, we're going to want to make sure that we take care of the fat first. So we have a little bit here. We want to render that down real nicely. So that is our first touching point on the grill. Push it down all the way so that the bone touches the grill as well. And you can see that real nicely start rendering down the fat. We won't be able to get all the way up until there, but we want to push it down and see that we get as much of that rim on the grill pan. Just going to hold it up with our hands. It's quite high up, there's not much chances of burn, but do be careful. These grills are really hot and we don't want you to get any burns. Slowly turn it over. You already see how that is beautifully rendered and crisped up the fat. The flavor is intensified. It's going to be delicious once it's done cooking, but it does really need a little extra time. If you do not cook it on the fat side, you're going to have uncooked, little bit jelly fat. Not really yummy. We left the steak out. This one needs at least 45 minutes out of the fridge before you start cooking, so it really comes up to room temperature. Moving it over, once it's all nicely grilled on the outside, I'm going to take care of the larger surfaces. It's going to grill up real nicely. Going to have lots of flavor on those sides. Going to render down the fat in the middle as well. Going to put it on the oven tray, finish it up in the oven on 180 degrees, as we have done with the other cuts as well. Give it time to rest, bring the temperature up slowly all the way down to the core. We test it with our thermometer, and before you know, we have a delicious meal ready, done. That looks incredible. Look at those beautiful grill marks. We'll keep it on high heat. If you're cooking over gas, you might have to turn it down a bit. You don't want to burn any of it. We need real good heat and nice grill marks, but we don't want any burning to be happening. That is not really delicious. I'll have a quick check there. Just need another minute. And that's it, guys. Look how gorgeous that looks. Beautiful grill marks, nicely seasoned, nicely grilled up. Grill pan can go on the side. And we are bringing back our thermometer. Now this time we're going to want to stick it in, but we're going to want to have the tip end near the bone, because that's where it will take the longest to cook. So we're going to stick it in from the side all the way down to the back. You want to take care, make sure that it is nice and centered. If it's too much on the outside, you'll have the chances that you end up with a raw cooked steak on the inside. Where it's positioned is really important for the success of cooking this steak, because it's so big and it's such a chunk. We have to get these little details right. But from here on, it's just keeping an eye on the temperature. Bring it up slowly, take it out of the oven, rest it a little bit, finish it off, add your sauce, add your garnish, and you have this unbelievable showstopper in less than 45 minutes. I want to turn over the steak so it cooks evenly on all sides. We are at 46 as we speak, which is great. We're really getting there. I want to turn it over one more time because the heat transfer is different on the top of the meat than on the bottom because of the metal tray. We can already see there's real nice caramelization from that grilling. This is going to be just stunning when it's done. Gonna need to give it a little bit more time to rest. We do one more round in the oven and then we're ready for plating, ready for the feast. Final stages, we're at 50-degree core temperature. We're gonna put it in by one more time, bring it up to 55, we'll leave it to rest, and then the meat will do the rest of the work, bring it up to 58 degrees. It's at 55 degrees, it's perfect to take out of the oven. We're gonna leave it to rest for a bit and then we'll be finishing up our dish. And that is looking stunning. You don't need this anymore if you feel like you want to keep it in there, so you can just check the temperature and where it goes up to. But by now we're very confident. We know that these last 3-4 degrees are going to slowly and gradually come from the residual heat in the tray and in the rest of the steak. So we'll leave that out. And there it is, that moment of truth we have been waiting for. We are ready, the meat is beautifully rested. We're gonna carve it off the bone and make it into really nice tranches. We're gonna plate it up here with our sprouting broccoli with bacon. Put that beautiful thyme and garlic butter on top. We will be ready. So we're gonna start with carving it off the bone. And the bone goes that way on a curve.